Ladies, it's time we have a real conversation, a conversation about being too nice. You know exactly what I mean. That feeling when you bite your tongue instead of speaking your mind, when you say yes to something you hate just because you don't want to upset someone, when you shrink yourself to fit into a version of you that makes everyone else comfortable, except you. Enough. Stop being too nice, girl. Now, don't get me wrong, kindness is a gift, but being too nice, that's a curse. Because too nice often means too afraid. Afraid of conflict, afraid of rejection, afraid of not being liked. But tell me this, when was the last time playing small got anyone anywhere? Let's get one thing straight. Being nice and being kind are not the same thing. We often confuse the two, but one is about pleasing others, while the other is about respecting yourself while treating others well. When you are nice, you prioritize making others happy, often at your own expense. You smile when you don't want to. You agree when you actually disagree. You say yes even when every part of you is screaming no. Because deep down you've been conditioned to believe that being liked is more important than being true to yourself. But being kind? Oh, that's different. Kindness comes from strength, not fear. A kind woman is compassionate, but she doesn't let people walk all over her. She respects others, but she also demands that same respect in return. She speaks her truth even when it's uncomfortable. A nice girl lets others set the tone, while a kind woman stands firm in her own voice. A nice girl avoids confrontation, while a kind woman addresses the problem with grace but without apology. A nice girl gets taken for granted, while a kind woman gets respected. So ask yourself, are you being nice because you genuinely want to be, or because you're afraid of what happens when you stop? Because here's the truth, when you stop being too nice, some people won't like it. They've gotten used to you bending over backward, saying yes to things you don't want and putting their comfort above your own. And when you finally stop, when you finally set boundaries and stand up for yourself, some people will call you difficult. Some will say you've changed. Good. Let them talk. Let them be uncomfortable. Because your life isn't about making everyone else happy. It's about being real, confident, and unapologetically you. So stop being too nice, girl. Be kind, be strong, be fierce. Because the world needs women who know their worth, not women who let themselves be walked over. Now tell me, who are you going to be? From the time we are little girls, we are taught to be sweet, accommodating, and agreeable. We're told, be a good girl, don't upset anyone, make sure everyone is happy. And without even realizing it, we start living our lives by one unspoken rule. Other people's comfort matters more than our own. We say yes when we want to say no. We bite our tongues when we should speak up. We overextend ourselves, running on empty, just to make sure everyone else is okay. And at first, it might feel good. You think, if I just make everyone happy, they'll like me. If I never cause trouble, I'll be loved and accepted. But that's a lie. Here's the truth. No matter how much you do for others, it will never be enough. Because when you live to please others, you teach them that your needs don't matter. You teach them that you'll always say yes, that you'll always be available, that they can take from you without ever giving anything back. And let me tell you something, people will take advantage of that, not because they're evil, but because you allow it. And what happens to you? You end up exhausted. You feel unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. You start to wonder, why does no one ever do the same for me? Why do I give so much and get so little in return? Because you taught them that your happiness comes second, And here's the kicker. Even when you do everything right, not everyone will like you. You could be the kindest, most accommodating, most self-sacrificing person in the world, and someone will still find a reason to criticize you. So why waste your energy? Why spend your life bending over backward for people who won't do the same for you? People-pleasing is a losing game, and it's time to stop playing. Instead of asking, will they be mad if I say no? Ask yourself, will I be mad at myself if I say yes? Instead of worrying, will they still like me? Ask, do I even like them? Do they respect me? You were not put on this earth to be small, agreeable, or easy to digest. You were put here to be bold, strong, and free. So stop living for everyone else. Stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop sacrificing your happiness for the approval of people who wouldn't do the same for you. You do not need permission to put yourself first. You are not selfish. You are not difficult. You are powerful. And it's about damn time you start acting like it. Let's get one thing clear. Your voice is your power. The way you speak, the way you express yourself, the way you stand up for what you believe in, it all matters. But too many women are taught to silence themselves, to soften their words so they don't seem too aggressive, to downplay their thoughts so they don't seem too opinionated, to hold back their truth so they don't come off as too much. Too much for who? Think about it. How many times have you hesitated to speak up in a meeting? How many times have you had an idea but kept it to yourself because you weren't sure how it would be received? How many times have you let things slide even when they bothered you just to avoid conflict? We do this because we've been conditioned to believe that silence keeps the peace, that being agreeable makes us good women, that if we speak too loudly, too confidently, or too boldly, we'll be seen as difficult. But let me tell you something. Your silence doesn't protect you, it erases you. The world does not change because of quiet women. Boardrooms don't shift, relationships don't grow, and opportunities don't appear because a woman decided to stay silent when she should have spoken up. If you don't own your voice, someone else will try to own it for you. That means if you don't advocate for your own ideas, someone else will take credit for them. If you don't say what you want, people will assume you're fine with whatever they decide. If you don't define yourself, the world will define you on its terms. So I'm here to tell you, own your voice, use it. Stop waiting for permission, because let's be honest, if a man speaks with confidence, he's called a leader. If a woman does the same, she's called bossy. But so what? Let them call you bossy. Let them call you outspoken. Let them call you too much. Because the alternative? Being ignored, overlooked, and unheard. And that's not the life you were meant to live. So, the next time you feel the urge to hold back, remember this. Your ideas are valuable. Say them. Your opinions matter. Share them. Your boundaries are valid. Set them. Your dreams are real. Fight for them. Stop diluting yourself to make others comfortable. Your voice is your legacy. Use it. Own it. Never let anyone take it away from you. Somewhere along the way, we were taught that saying no is rude, that setting boundaries makes us selfish, that putting ourselves first is wrong. But here's the truth. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They are gates that protect your peace. They are the invisible lines that define what is okay and what is not okay in your life. They teach people how to treat you. They separate who drains you from who deserves you. And most importantly, They remind you that your time, your energy, and your emotional well-being are just as important as anyone else's. Yet, so many women struggle to set boundaries. Why? Because we're afraid of being seen as difficult, afraid of disappointing people, afraid of what might happen if we finally start saying no. But let me ask you something. What has saying yes to everything really gotten you? Exhausted? Burnt out? Feeling unappreciated, unseen, and unheard? Because that's what happens when you live without boundaries. You give and give and give until there's nothing left for you. And here's the worst part. People will take as much as you allow. Not because they're cruel, but because you have taught them that your needs come second. That you will always show up even when it drains you. That you will always say yes even when you want to scream no. But today, that stops. It's time to set boundaries. It's time to reclaim your power, because boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about protecting your energy so you can give it to the right people, the right opportunities, and the right dreams. What do boundaries look like in relationships? Saying, I won't tolerate disrespect, and I won't stay in spaces where I am not valued. At work, saying I'm not available 24/7 and I will not take on more than I can handle just to prove my worth. With friends and family, saying I love you, but I will not sacrifice my mental health to keep you happy. For yourself, saying I will not feel guilty for putting myself first. At first, people might not like your boundaries. Why? Because they were benefiting from your lack of them. But let them adjust. If someone only respects you when you have no boundaries, they never really respected you at all. So here's your new mantra. I am not responsible for how people react to my boundaries. I am only responsible for setting them. Say it, own it, live it. Because boundaries are not selfish. They are self-respect. And the moment you start enforcing them, that's the moment you take back your power. For too long, women have been taught that the safest way to move through life is to comply, to be agreeable, to follow the rules, to fit in rather than stand out. We are told, don't be too opinionated, don't be too ambitious, don't make waves. So what do? We comply, we shrink, we lower our voices, we make ourselves smaller to fit into spaces that were never designed for our power. But let me tell you something, compliance will never lead you to the life you deserve. The women who change the world are not the ones who play it safe. They are not the ones who wait for permission. They are the ones who walk into the room like they belong there. The ones who take up space, the ones who own their voices and refuse to be silenced. Because confidence is not about being the loudest person in the room, it's about knowing your worth even when no one else does. Why confidence wins when you live for compliance? You become a passenger in your own life. You say yes when you want to say no. You follow the crowd instead of leading your own path. You wait for validation instead of knowing that you are enough. But when you choose confidence over compliance, you take control. You stop looking for permission. You stop apologizing for existing. Confidence tells you, you belong in every room you step into. You are worthy of the opportunities you desire. You don't have to prove yourself to anyone who doesn't see your value. What does confidence look like? In your career, speaking up in meetings, asking for the promotion, walking away from jobs that don't value you. In your relationships, setting boundaries, choosing respect over attention, never begging for love. In your daily life, carrying yourself with certainty, not apologizing for your existence, walking like you own your space. And let's be real, confidence makes people uncomfortable. Some will call you arrogant, some will call you difficult, some will say you've changed. Let them talk. Because those comments don't come from people who support you. They come from people who benefited from your silence. So today I need you to make a choice. Will you keep complying or will you step into your confidence? Because the moment you stop waiting for approval, the moment you start believing in yourself, you become unstoppable. Enough with the people-pleasing, the shrinking, the silencing of your own voice just to make others comfortable. Enough with putting everyone else first while leaving yourself last. You were not born to be nice at the expense of your power. You were born to be bold, strong, and fearless. So from this moment on, choose yourself. Choose kindness over niceness. Because kindness comes from strength, while niceness comes from fear. Choose yourself over people-pleasing, because no matter how much you give, it will never be enough for everyone. Choose your voice over silence, because the world does not remember quiet women. Choose boundaries over burnout, because protecting your energy is self-respect. Choose confidence over compliance, because success doesn't come from playing it safe. Some people won't like it. Some will say you've changed. Good, because you are not here to live for other people's approval. You are here to take up space, to speak your truth, to own your power, and to build the life you deserve. So stop being too nice, girl. Be kind, be strong, and be unapologetically you, because the world doesn't need more nice girls. It needs more unstoppable women.